tonight's I'm gonna say opportunity call. Welcome to tonight's. It's just a mom's night. We're having just a meetup with moms, talking about how we work our business with our babies, our kiddos, and
Baby.
and how we deal with our hubbies. How does this all work? How does it all come together? And your priorities and stuff. So first, I want to introduce myself. I'm Jessica Abear. I am a Presidential Diamond Leader with It Works, and I'm making my 4-year anniversary this month. I cannot believe I've been with this company for 4 years. It has been so much fun. I was able to bring my husband home, and he's been a stay-at-home dad for 2 years, and we decided to follow our dreams and move to Florida. So this has been an exciting trip so far, and our journey's not done. And we have some awesome leaders on the line. I have Erica Gibbs, Katie Fontenot, Rachel Tripp, Veronica Landry, and Brittany Arwood. So all the girls are going to introduce themselves so you can get to know everybody a little bit.
Do I go first? Katie goes
Wow,
first.
Erica, you're up.
Who?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey, guys. Okay, I'm Erica Gibbs. I'm a diamond with It Works Global. I have 2 little girls, a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they are my why. They are why I do this. They are why I have not given up. They are why I push every day and try to help as many people as possible so that I never have to tell them no because of money. I have to tell them no because it's a parenting decision. So that's my why, and why I say I never make my why my excuse.
I love it.
She's muted. She don't know she's muted.
I'm unmuted now. Katie Fontenot, tell us who you are, where you're from, how long you've been with the company.
Okay, I am Katie Fontenot. I'm a new triple diamond with It Works Global. I've been in the company since April 19th of last year, and I joined whenever my son was only 3 weeks old. So I am definitely one of those people that did not make my why my excuse. A lot of people will join and then they find out they're pregnant and they say, oh, I can't do this anymore, but it's absolutely the complete opposite. You have to work hard for the ones that you love. So I worked hard. I was a new mommy of a 3-week-old, and I got my diamond bonus whenever he was only 3.5 months old, so there's no excuses there.
I love it. So, Katie, you're right in the midst of all the baby craziness. Have a little one this age, and you're having your second. So, and you built a triple diamond the whole time. How cool is that?
Yes.
All right, Miss Rachel Tripp, I have you on here tonight. You don't have any kiddos yet, but you've really, I mean, you're kind of in the trenches with all the moms. You're watching all of us build. You've experienced all of our growth while we have all the babies. So he's asking Siri something. So I wanted you to be here tonight because I think you can speak from a different perspective. So tell us, what's your name, where you're from, and your new rank. Woo.
Yeah, hey y'all, I'm Rachel Tripp. I am, like Jess said, getting married November 21st, and hopefully I'll have a honeymoon baby. Hanging out with all my It Works girls, my It Works family. I feel like I'm pretty much a mommy to all their kids, or I want to be. So I love that, no one lets their kids be their excuse. I mean, we have events, you bring your kids to the events. It's awesome. Whenever I went to my first conference with Ryan and Jessica, Jess was big and pregnant, about to pop, and had 2 kids in the back seat, drove 10 hours to the event, and I'm like, where are the kids going to go? It's my first time meeting all them, really hanging out with them, and Ryan would stay outside in the big room while Jessica would go into the event. And then after a couple hours, Jessica would go back out and see the kids, and Ryan would go and listen. So, you just don't make any excuses. Even if you have to, watch your kids for a little bit and then go into the event and just flip-flop, do that. Or, Katie, you brought a nanny. didn't you? Like to conference or something last year. You just do
Yeah.
whatever you got to do.
Ow! Reed sees Daddy. Yep, Rachel, that was the first year, like, we went to conference and we didn't have a sitter, and talk about no excuses. We just made it happen. But yeah.
Sorry, I just went right into it.
Yeah, no, it was good though. It was good. I think you are everybody's like Aunt Rachel.
Yep.
I love it.
I
Hi,
became
Veronica.
Aunt Rachel today, huh, Katie?
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember when Rachel told me she wanted to babysit. I was like, yeah, just come over. All right, V and Brittany. What's your name? Where are you from? How many kids do you have?
I'm Veronica Landry. I'm from Marrero, Louisiana, and I became a distributor in March 2012. And I have two boys now. They're 11 and 8. And you know, when I started, my youngest was 4, and they just didn't get it. They didn't understand why mommy was on the computer all the time and on the phone all the time. But you know, they say take your husband and take your distributors to an event. Take your kids to an event. Take your kids to Florida, because it took my kids to get to Florida for the light bulb to go off in their head, and then they understand, okay, this is what I can have. And it really took them going to the beach and seeing all the other kids and fishing on the beach, you know, and then they're like, all right, mommy, I get it. So as they got a little older and they started to understand, they blitz with me. They put on their black and green. They love it. And they hang out the car, you know. I roll down the window. My oldest, he's leaning over at a red light giving people cards through the window. And I made I made a little pact with them, and I say, if we're out blitzing and if you know, somebody buys a wrap while we're blitzing, I'll give you $5 out of the 20. So now, I mean, we're fighting over blitzing people, and they're like, I got that one. I'm like, no, I got that one. So definitely, if you can, get your kids to Florida. Let them really get experience it, just like you're doing. Everything you do, let your kids do, and they're going to love it.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you, Brett?
So, so I'm Brittany Arwood. I'm from Marrero, Louisiana. I started this business in February of 2014. Oh, it is cute. Katie, your picture's cute. I started this business in February of 2014. When I first started, James was 3 going on 4, and my youngest was 3 months old. And I was a complete mess, because when I first started, we had a lot of stress stuff going on. So I just didn't make any excuses. I made my kids a part of it. When I go to wrap parties, they come with me. My kids are always with me. My husband works like 60, 70, sometimes 80 hours a week. I never have a babysitter. A babysitter is not existent for JD and I. So I always have my kids. The only reason I don't have them tonight is because JD, by the grace of God, is home, and they're with him. So I don't make any excuses. My kids come with me, and I've learned, and we'll talk about this later, but I've learned not to apologize for that. When I go places, I don't apologize for having my kids anymore, because that's why I do this, so that I can be with my babies and so that I can raise them and not a babysitter. And so they come with me everywhere, and James and Darren love it. They love coming places. They love
We had the baby with us today.
Yeah, we had the baby with us today, and we were blitzing. We blitzed literally like 6 people before we even got inside of Target. And he's a good excuse to talk to people, because they always go, oh, he's so cute. And I'm like, thank you. Here's my card. So, you know, I take my kids everywhere, and I don't apologize. And if I got to fuss at them right in the middle of a conversation, I do it. And if I got to change a dirty diaper while we're talking about the business, I do it. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. It is. You want them to, you want people to see that, you know, you're making it work, that you decided to be all in, kids or no kids, and that's how you're going to make it work. And people need to see that. People, you know, Brittany, if you were to get a sitter, or if I was to get a sitter every time I went to a meeting, then women would think they need a sitter. It's kind of like you show up to a wrap party and this person has, like, you know, the whole wrap party was catered. they're not going to do the business because they see that and it's not duplicatable. You know, I can take my kids, and then, you know, it's funny because we seem to think that our kids are the only ones that are freaking out and making us look crazy, but really it's everybody's kids. So when we're all together and they see that, it's almost like it gives you peace. You're like, okay, so it's not just me, it's not just my kids. I can do this. So guys, I'm going to start, you know, with the steps of success. You know, each of you should have your steps of success sheet printed out for the month. And this is your job. This is what we're doing in the business. And, you know, it's really good to treat this like it's your job. You're only going to get a check is if you complete. The only way you get a check is if you complete this sheet, not an option. You know, if you complete this, you can promote to Ruby, and you increase your commissions and income. But, you know, a lot of people, you know, they don't get out of their comfort zone, push out of their comfort zones, and go out there and blitz and get the low customers, get the wraps on people so they can have people join their team because of their kids. They're like, how am I going to get out of the house when I have them with me? And Erica, you are perfect, the perfect example of this. How, you know, you've made it kind of your way of business by having mommy dates, mommy play dates at the park.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You came up with some other distributors, and you were able to get your loyal customer bonus. It's an additional $600 a month on top of your commissions when you get 60 loyal customers. And, you know, you didn't let the distributor part stress you out. You thought, you know what, I'm just going to go out and get the loyal customer bonus first. And you did that through mommy play dates. So do you want to start us off and talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first joined, we were in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I wasn't around a lot of people that I knew, and the girls were 3 and 1 when I first started with this. And the way that I actually got started is you lived too far away from me, so you sent Jennifer to my house, and she showed up with her mom and her 2 kids. And when she did that, that is kind of part of why I joined. It was like, okay, if she's going to drive an hour and a half with her kids to sign me up, then there is no reason why I can't do this business. Because at the time, she just had Jude and Caleb, and they're the same ages in Aubrey and Sydney. So I knew that this could work. And that's exactly a work day for me, is going to the splash pad with the girls. And if I see 2 or 3 moms there, I hand them my Blitz card. If I'm at Walmart and I'm in the checkout line and a mom's like, oh, I wish I could stay home. Well, here, this is how you can do that. And it is. You bring your kids. In fact, my kids pull out my Blitz cards out of my back pocket and say, Mommy, can I give this to her? Or did you give it to her yet? But, yeah, you bring your kids everywhere you go. There are a few times I don't bring them just because of bedtime issues, but for the most part, my kids are with me, and I'll bring crayons and coloring books or whatever to keep them as occupied as I can, but, they're kids. And when other moms see that, they know that they can do this business too. So, yeah, absolutely. Oh, and getting back to the loyal customer thing, yeah, I didn't go high up on the rank chart in the beginning, but I had enough loyal customers to where I was making over diamond pay because I had those customers. So if you're not to Ruby yet, don't stress out. Like, y'all can definitely get whatever amount of money that you want. We say chase the bank, not the rank. But if you are going for those bonuses, go out there and get them. Because when it was time for me to get it, when Mark brought back the bonuses at conference that next year, I did go out and get the $10,000 bonus. So this is your journey, and you make it what you need to be for you and your family, and definitely keep your kids and your husband involved, and that'll help out a lot.
It does, and I think, whenever you originally sign up, you have your dream board. And it is huge to have your kids a part of the dream board. Kind of like what Veronica said, bringing the kids to the beach. We talk about bringing your spouse to events. Your kids love wrap parties. Believe it or not, if you have never taken your kid to a wrap party, they think it's the best thing ever. I remember Royce, it was his job to blitz everybody at the wrap party. I tried to explain to him that people were there because they were already blitzed, but it was still his job to hand out blitz cards. He was 2. I started this when Royce was 2 and Remy was 6 months, between, I think, 7 to 8 months. And I would show up with the kids to a wrap party, and it was a late wrap party. I would be starting it at 7 o'clock, and I would put the kids to sleep on their bed, and then I would go out and do the wrap party, or I was holding one, or somebody in the room was holding one. So people are so open arms when it comes to having your kids there. They're ready to help you. And you kind of get a little bit of mercy when they see you, with your kids. They're like, how can I help? What can I do? So their guard is down. You're not there to sell something, It's like a win-win. They're helping you, and you're able to, host the party. So having your kids a part of it is definitely a good idea. Veronica, you want to go back to dream boards? To, talk about what you've done with your boys since they're a little bit older with dream boards.
Yeah. Tyler was just asking me yesterday when we can do another one. So, I know there's a few things he's been asking for lately. I told him it definitely needs to be when his grades are up, but that's what I was telling Brittany. I need more magazines because he wants to make a new one. But I mean, they love it. Your kids they always want stuff. They always, when Christmas comes, I know for my kids, they get stuff for Christmas and they get stuff for your birthday. If it's not one of those things, don't ask me for nothing. But it's always something that they want. So I'm like, let's just get magazines, let's get tape, let's get glue, let's sit and do it. And they love it. We get a lot of hunting magazines that come to the house, and they get them from their grandma. I mean, whatever you have, they love it. But I mean, it's something for them to look at. Yeah, it keeps them excited, gives them something to look forward to, And if they want something, then they're gonna go draw it or put it on there.
Yeah.
But dream boards are great because it gives them something that towards what they're working towards.
Right, and Rachel, you can speak from like a hubby standpoint. With your fast start bonuses, when you first started doing this, Dylan didn't really understand, what you were doing, why you were so involved, but you made a way for him to be a part of this through like just fast start bonuses and buying stuff.
Yeah,
like
I have it written down on my little list. But yeah, y'all, every time you get a $99 fast start bonus, and for those of you that don't know what that is, whenever you sign up a distributor and that distributor gets 2 loyal customers in 30 days and they have their auto ship, their 150 person bonus volume, then you get a fast start bonus, which is $99. And so, what I was doing was whenever I would get that, we'd go to dinner, or I'd get them, we take us to the movies, or just a date night. And so you're using the It Works money to pay for that. You're not having to use his money or his check. You're using the It Works money, so that just helps out a lot.
Yeah, and then they feel, it's like everybody loves to see money coming in from somewhere.
Yep.
That's why we say with a lot of times,
Because of It Works, yeah.
show them the money.
Uh-huh.
I missed what you said. I'm sorry. What did you say?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, nothing.
All right, so Katie, I'm going to take this question out to you. It says, how do you balance family time and It Works when you run, when you need to run, you got to do a 90-day run without getting burned out. And, you've been in this business for, how many months did you go triple?
Wait, what was the last thing you said?
How many months did you go triple? How many months were you in the business? 18 months, 19 months?
17.
17 months you went triple, and that's a huge accomplishment. You did it with the baby. You did half of that with Will being gone, right?
Yes. Yes.
And when he was back in town, I'm sure he wanted your undivided attention, right?
Oh, he did, and it was really tough for him at first, and that's why he didn't like this business. For one, because he would get home and I would be on my phone, or I'd have to go to a meeting or something, and he would say, "Go do your thing," but I knew he was mad. So I started getting to where I was like, okay, I have to put my phone down for a little while. Like, it was getting bad. It was to a point where I was in my bed at night playing on my phone, so we wouldn't get any alone time together. So I had to learn to like you said the other night, time management is super important. I had to learn when to put my phone down and when to pick it up. So he didn't mind if I was working during the day or if he was doing something. But like even on date nights, I'd leave my phone in the car. I wouldn't even bring it down. and then he still brought his, but after a while he noticed that I wasn't bringing my phone down anymore, and so he stopped bringing his phone down. So it was a struggle at first because I didn't know how to balance everything, and so whenever things were getting more busy, I had to, especially whenever he got home. Um, hold on, I'm driving up to my house. 1 second. Liam fell asleep in the car.
Aw.
Yeah. Whenever he got home, it got even worse because he was home all the time, and he didn't know how to stay home with me because I was always working. And then like towards the afternoon, I would get off my phone and we would just spend the day together. But at first, it was really hard. He hated it works for so long because of that, because his time home from the oil field, he didn't get to spend time with me. So time management was super important. And then whenever I got pregnant, and whenever he was home, we started setting up date nights. And so we get a babysitter once a week so we can have date nights before the baby comes, because when the baby comes, we might not get him as often.
Yeah. You know, and if you're using, like, put aside some wrap cash for a babysitter or get a family member. And guys, you can go on Pinterest and there's a list, and it's like 100 things you can do for free on a date night. And the stuff is so fun. So I was even thinking like doing this with Ryan, getting like a stack of cards or something and writing 100 things out. It's a pack of 100 note cards right here. Everybody go pick up one of these. And write on there, 100 free ideas that you could do. One, it was funny. It was like, go get 2 canvases from the store and paint pictures of each other, and you can't see it, and then you have to show it to each other.
Oh my God.
So it was like all these fun things, cook a dinner you've never, done before, or bake something, or go for a walk, go for a bike ride. So all these different things. So, you don't have to tell them you're doing this, but, put all those ideas on the paper, and then once a week, pick it up, and then, have a date night with your hubby just to keep it fun, give him your undivided attention, and, it show him that you can have balance. Erica, what about, with Brian? He wasn't really supportive in the beginning, but
he was supportive, but men like to see paychecks,
yeah.
honestly. And the first time the paycheck was over 1,000 is really when he kind of kicked it into high gear as far as supporting. But at One Team One Mission, he kind of explained how he felt about me on the phone. He says that it's it was mostly him getting his feelings hurt. Feeling like I was on the phone too much, but a lot of times I'll sit there and go, okay, this is why I'm on the phone, and I'll show him the messages or the text messages or the post that I was able to, comment on, and then that person messaged me to become a distributor or a customer, and he saw why. And he even said, I know that you're never going to cheat on me. I know that we have a strong marriage. He said, but it is hard sometimes when you're on the phone. And so kind of like Katie, we've found times where, I'll just put the phone down, and it's hard because I don't want to miss anything. That's my biggest thing. I don't want to miss anything. What if I miss something? But it is important to have those times with your family. But, he's come around a lot where the phone's concerned, just because he knows that's how a majority of us work our business. And hearing it from other distributors and other husbands and other boyfriends that, yeah, we're all in it together, this is how they work their business, and that's how those paychecks come in every month. But, you find a way to work through it, and definitely, like I said, right now he's putting the kids to bed so I can do this. So having a supportive spouse is very important in this business. If somebody's husband is unsure if they want to join the business, I always say, give me a call and I'll put Brian on the phone, and he doesn't mind talking to them and saying, look, this is how I was in the beginning, this is how I am now. But definitely having that spousal support can really boost your business. But that being said, you don't have to have it in order to succeed. And I know Veronica is an excellent, excellent example of that, because her husband was not as supportive as possible, and she still got to double diamond regardless.
Yeah, she did. Is Chip in the house or room, Veronica?
No, he's gone till Sunday. Woohoo! Woohoo!
We should all do this at your house.
Guys, I'm gonna tell you straight up, there, for probably 3 good years of my business. This year at conference was the first year that I got to go, and I felt like I wasn't on the phone defending myself for being there. And I straight up told him, I'm doing this with or without you. And when I go to the top, I hope you're with me. But if not, I'm doing it regardless. And I know that's tough to say, but I got pushed to a point to where it came out, and it had to be said because I was tired of getting pushed down and pushed down and pushed down for what I felt like what was right. And there was a time it came to divorce talk, and I had a clear sign from God that I am at the right place, the right time in my business. And I walked away from the conversation, and ever since that day, I know what I'm doing is right. My husband has backed off a lot. He still makes comments here and there. When are we going to see this money rolling in, and when is it work's going to pay for things? When it has, it does, it is. But for him, he sees, the presidentials and the ambassadors, and he sees these people that really built a really strong, huge business, and he's just saying, when are you going to do that? And it's in the process of happening, and I have to say that all the struggles and everything I've been through, I feel like all the progress I made has led me to where I am now, and I would do it all again if I can have the feeling, the secure feeling that I have with the girls in my business that I have right now. But I said my piece to him, and I do it, and that's what I tell all the girls, to your family, to your sisters, to your brothers, to your husband, your parents. You need to tell them, I'm doing this with or without you. So, it'll be great if you're up there supporting me when I'm on stage, but if you're not, hey, I'm good. you know? You can't come to my island. How does Mark say that?
Yes.
But it is tough. But you just have to know that where this company is taking you is somewhere that you can't get anywhere else.
Yes.
Yeah, Brittany, come on, add something to that.
So when I first started, JD was like, we were still in shock that I quit my job. When I quit my job, it was not a financially smart decision, but it was a decision that God forced us into. We did not understand it at that point, but we understand it now. We didn't have a babysitter, so I had to quit. I told y'all we don't have babysitters. So I had to quit my job, and so his cousin Josh and Crystal Arwood, they do this, and I called her and I was like having a panic attack, legit panic attack on the way home, and I was like, do you make money? Because I need a job. And she was like, yeah. So I signed up and we went over there. I'll never forget, February 9th. We had just got our income tax, and I boosted, but I got a big booster because I knew I wasn't going to have money for product anymore because we were broke. So I spent like $500 and I got all this stuff, and he's looking at me going, I thought I was supposed to get a barbecue pit for my birthday. He does not let me live down that damn barbecue pit. But it was mad. He knew I had to do something, and at first he was like, yeah, okay, just do your thing. I'm not working before, and I kind of burnt him out, and he was like aggravated with it, and so I took $500 that I spent and I flipped it and made $1,500, and he still was like, this is stupid. Why are you doing this? These things are gonna wear off. Like you're not gonna continue doing this. And I had to listen to that for like 2 months, and I finally got sick of it, like Veronica, and I came home and I was like, I have supported every decision you've ever made. You want to quit, you want to switch jobs, I'm going to support it. This is before he switched his job. You wanted to quit college, I supported it. You wanted to, do the things that he did, I support it. Anything JD ever wanted to buy, he makes the money and I work out the bills. And anything he ever wants to buy, I figure it out. He doesn't know how I'll figure it out, I just figure it out. If I got to push a bill back, if I got to call and get an extension, I don't care what I got to do. I do it, and it's like, I support you, so you're gonna shut up, basically. I mean, I'm not telling you to tell your husband to shut up, but that's how me and Judy talk to each other. I'm like, you're gonna shut up, you're gonna sit down. If you gotta fold clothes, you're gonna fold them. If you gotta do dishes, you're gonna do them, and you're gonna let me make money and retire you, and you're gonna let me do this for us because I'm your wife, and that's what you're supposed to do. And he finally had enough, and he was like, I don't want to argue, let's do it. And so when he started getting involved is when I started really doing good. And I might not be a triple diamond or a presidential diamond, but we've grown a lot. Our marriage is stronger. My children benefit from it. My kids come everywhere with me, and I am such a better mom because of everything I've learned through this company and through God. And anybody who knows me knows I'm a very spiritual person. I attribute every single good and bad thing in my life, it's all to God. And it's because of that. It's because I quit work. I started this crazy little company, and I made these insane friends that I have, and we do this together. And now my husband, I'm one of the lucky ones. I do consider myself blessed. My husband, it kind of reminds me of how Ryan and Jess are. Like he's found me in a closet on the floor crying. Just recently, actually, if we're going to be real, we all go through it. I was on the floor crying, and I just felt like I failed my team. I felt like I failed myself. And you know what he did? He didn't baby me. He didn't show any kind of like, boo-hoo, come here, baby, I'm going to kiss you up. And no, he picked me up and he said, dry it up. You're not a 2-year-old. Go out there. Go call your team. Go text your team and go get your stuff together. And we're going to do this, right? And I was like, thank you. I loved him for it, and that's how he is now. He blitzes. He tells me all the time, anytime I ever, not that I ever want to quit because I never want to quit, but anytime I ever get like negative or down on myself, he's like, shut up with that nonsense. He's like, God has you exactly where you want to be. If we don't make a penny in this company, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. These girls look up to you. You know, you look at the friends you've made. You cannot be down on yourself. Just get over yourself. What is that going to benefit you? And that's because he does that to me. That's how I am with my team, and we benefit from it. And so it was hard at first, but now I have to say, me and JD do life together. Like, he gets frustrated. He'll come home and he'll fuss at me about my phone, or he'll fuss at me about the clothes, and we don't have it all figured out. And we still, bicker, but he'll like moan and groan instead of like coming at me and fussing at me now. He'll like,
I think it's important.
I got no towels clean.
If we expect our husbands to give us encouragement, we need to do the same thing for them. We need to be the one lifting them up, speaking life into them, encouraging them to go after their dreams. Tell them that they're doing a good job. Tell them that you love them. Tell them thank you. Tell them, if we're going to get what we give. So, if you have an unsupportive spouse or even somebody that's giving you negative feedback, just always be the one encouraging them, and you'll see a switch. You'll see a change in them, in the way they are, the way, the energy is between the two of you.
You can't make your husband feel special. You can't forget your husband. You can't forget to make your husband feel like your husband. He's your, besides God, he's the number one. And you got to make him feel like that. So if stepping away from your phone, that potential, if they're going to sign with you, they're going to sign with you regardless if you answer right now or not. You've got to give your husband time.
What I want to say too, sorry Brittany,
No,
but Jessica, you know everything I've been through with my husband. And, there was plenty of times where you're like, how much longer are you going to take of this, But she told me one day, she said, you need to speak life into your house. And ever since then, it's like every now and then he'll say a few things here and there, but it is nothing. Like I said, like this year for conference, I was afraid to even tell him I want to go because of what he was going to say. But he was like, if you're going to go, then go.
And that's huge for Chip.
I mean, that's huge
big.
for my husband to just be like, okay, that's fine. But Jessica told me, you need to speak life into him. You need to speak life into the walls of the house. And that's what I do, guys. The shower is the only time I get alone time. And I pray and I let everything out. And I just speak life into this house. I speak life into my husband. And guys, he's not a real what am I trying to say?
Lovey-dovey?
Not a lovey-dovey person. He's not a religious person. But I've seen little changes in him, and it is a lot of me, because at first I was like, God, if he would only change, if he would do this, if he would do that. And Jessica told me too, Veronica, maybe you need to change yourself. And when I started changing a few things about myself, personal growth, just the way I think, I started changing the way I think, and it started changing a lot of him. So, we do have tough times with our husband, but don't put the blame on him. Start to, even positive thinking can go such a long way with your spouse.
Absolutely.
And something that I just want to throw out there, talk to your husbands. And this is coming from my old therapist side. They cannot read your mind, and you cannot read their mind. If they don't talk a lot and tell you what's wrong, and all you see is this grumpy guy walking around your house, or you're feeling that you're not loved enough or whatever, talk to him. Take the time and say, hey, what's going on? How can we fix this? Because if not, those little things that go unsaid are going to become so big that they're going to form a wedge. Keep that communication open all the time, and it'll not only make your marriage stronger, but it'll make your business stronger, because you'll be in this together. It won't be, I'm going to go do this, so you go do that. It forms, an even stronger bond. So
Yeah.
communicate.
And that communication goes back to having like a weekly calendar out. And you and your husband every night are discussing what you have to do tomorrow. What's your schedule look like tomorrow? This is what I have, and find ways to work together. Don't have separate lives because of this business. You want everything to kind of flow into one. So communicating is huge, with what you're doing and what your plans are, what your visions are, what your goals are, why you're going to do this. It all comes full circle. If you really want your kids and your husband and your business to be a successful spinning circle, then everybody needs to be communicating on the same page of why you're doing it. How's the switch with Will being home? You still work the business full time, and does he have a part in the business yet? Not really, huh?
No, I did build him to diamond, but he still has problems. Like, he doesn't come with me to meetings, and he still has problems with me wanting, like, I push him. I'm like, okay, are you gonna come with me to this one team, one mission? And he'll say yeah, and then the night before, he's like, no, I'm not coming. So he's supportive in a way because he likes the money, and obviously it brought him home, but he's still not like 100% like on board. He thinks that I want him to go out and sell wraps, and that's just not what I don't expect that of him, especially not now. I feel like maybe one day he might get to that point, but it's been tough since he's been home because we were so used to that 14 and 14 schedule that when it came home, we didn't know how to be with each other. We didn't know how to miss each other anymore, because he would leave for 2 weeks and we'd miss each other, and he'd come home and we'd spend all this time together. So whenever he got home, it was really tough for us to figure out like how we were going to spend time with each other without getting sick of each other, because it got to where he was like, I don't even know, he was just watching a lot of TV and doing things that that, and I was working, and we were kind of starting to despise each other. So we had to find a balance in between that. And he said today that he would come with me to conference, but I'm not crossing my fingers or saying okay, but it's a start. It takes a while. He thought it was a fad whenever I first started. He said that it was gonna be over within a year, that I wasn't even gonna do it a year. So he thought it was a fad, and now he says every day, when you gonna go Prez? Like, how far are you from Prez? Let me see. Like, he looks at his charts now. It's crazy. And he'll go and he'll look through all my charts, and he's like, where's mine at? He wants to see how close he is to his next promotion. But he work the business, but he likes to be he to like look at everything. And so that's exciting. He's getting a little bit more, and now he's starting to know what like BV is and all that stuff. So it takes a while. So whenever you first sign up, don't get disappointed when your husband or your boyfriend or whoever isn't 100% on board. Like, Will only came with me to one meeting, and it was my first one team one mission. and he said he would never come again. Like that, he said that we were crazy. And then, and so I was like, all right, but I'd ask him every time we'd have a meeting, hey, I'm going to New Orleans, or hey, I'm going to Baton Rouge, you want to come? He's like, no, I'm going to stay here with Liam. And now that I'm triple, he's finally getting around to, like, kind of wanting to be involved, but not really. So it's just going to take a while.
Hey, you
Well,
know,
maybe
how much,
I can drop my husband off with your husband.
Katie, you know how much longer it's gonna take?
Probably another year or so.
No, it's not. You know how long it's gonna take?
How
It's
long?
gonna take 7 days. When our checks are gonna post on and show what we're making in 7 days, and then I want to know his attitude after that.
Really?
He's gonna be a different person. I promise. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's going to see that triple check and go,
Yes, and he's gonna see his diamond check. Men, you just have to show him the money. So if you're like, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna get him on board? This is what you do. And all the girls are kind of giving you their stories, but we're gonna keep this really simple. Have boundaries. Have time set when you're gonna work your business and when you're gonna have family time. Make sure your husband is getting attention. Get focused on a goal so that way every day you are purposely working, whether you're looking for a customer, whether you have a contact goal, you want to reach so many people a day, whether you want to blitz so many people a day, whatever that goal is, have a goal, a daily goal that you have to work towards. You have to find the balance, whether kids are napping and you're finding, the work like Erica does, go to the park with the kids. Veronica goes out and blitzes with them. Brittany, how do you do it? How do you work with the kids? You're home most of the time, so is it just social media?
Yeah, so James just started school, which I'm really excited about because I'll have that nap time to that's 100% to myself. But just before James started school, like my mom has an Audubon pass, and when the weather's good, we use we use that Audubon pass out. Like we went, I'm not kidding, 4 or 5 times a week. I was giving out like 100 blitz cards at the least a week. I was going through blitz cards like crazy, and I was getting contact information from the people that would give it to me, and the people that didn't, I just made sure that I tried my best to leave like a lasting impression, compliment them, that sort of thing, and my kids loved it. Like I would explain to them, okay, baby, who wants to go to the zoo? And of course they would go nuts. I have a 20-month-old, so he was like, blah blah blah. He don't care. But my 4-year-old would be like, yeah, I want to go to the zoo, mama. And I'm like, you want to see animals? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay, look, mommy can go to the zoo, but the only way mommy can do that is if I talk to 20 people. Mommy's got to talk to at least 20 people. And I was like, the more people mommy talks to, the more money mommy can make. And when mommy makes more money, mommy can do more things like this with you. Because you have to kind of like keep it simple. He's 4. So he's like, okay, mommy. And now in our house, I tell him, he always asks me, can I go to the beach? And I'm like, yes, you can go to the beach when mommy goes triple diamond. Mommy's going to rent a beach house, and we're all going to go to the beach for your birthday. But I have to be triple diamond. So in his little mind, all he thinks about is if mommy sells those wrap things, then I get to go to the beach. So when we'll be out and we're out and we're talking to people and he's kind of hanging out, and my kids are all over the place. They're busy. So I'm like, when I'm talking to people, I'm like left and right grabbing them. And I used to think that people would think that that's crazy. Like, I don't want to be like that. But I find that a lot of people, when you're like running after your kids, you're like, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me 1 second. And I'm like grabbing my babies and we're laughing and we're getting interrupted by little fingers and little, mommy, let me show you this. People like that because you know what it gives them? It's real. When we try, like, the reason why I never tell people no kids. And the reason why I never tell people no kids is because it gives people it lets people know that for real, you can do this with your business. We don't just say that to get you on board. And so now James is like, when we're talking to somebody, he'll be like, my mommy's going to go triple diamond, and we're going to go to the beach. She's going to make a lot of money. And he'll just start blabbering, and these people are like, really? And I can't tell you how many people call me that have become customers or that are potential distributors. I've met people in the parking lot. And New Orleans is like a melting pot, so I meet a lot of people from there. So I bring my kids everywhere I go. If I can't, and remember when I first started, we were broke, so I had to do everything that was free. So we had to go to the zoo, not the aquarium, because the aquarium, the bathing parking lot charges $15 to park. So the only time we could go to the aquarium is if I sold a wrap. So what we would do was we'd go to the zoo for an hour, and then we would walk the city. I would go to the Riverwalk. I would sell a wrap. I don't know what it is about the Riverwalk, but I always sell a wrap or a facial before I leave. And then we would go to the aquarium, and I would use my wrap money to pay for parking. Um, and because you can park like on the street in the city, but parking on the street to go all the way to the aquarium is too far. So we would do that. Or I would like, go on Faith and I would pay for the parking lot, and then I'd go on the Riverwalk and I'd make sure I made that money before we went inside the aquarium. And I was very intentional, but I made sure that I made it all about the kids. It's very hard not to make it about the kids when you're at the zoo. And then, like, I do wrap parties at home. If I don't have the gas money to go home, like if I'm strictly at home for the week, like with 6 babies, like we're all sick right now, I just make sure I make the most time out of nap time. I've learned to balance my phone. I was using way too much gigabyte, way too much of my data on Facebook and stuff, and so, and then my kids were like tearing my house up and spilling milk and just messing things up. And so I was like, okay, they're doing it when I'm distracted. So I need to make sure that I spend time with them first because they're most important, because that's why I did this business, right? So when I'm at home, I do not pick up my phone unless I go to the bathroom, unless I go to pee, or if they're nap time and movie time. So during the weekend, or before James started school, Darren would have nap time and James would have quiet time, and that's when I mess with my phone. And if they're awake, typically I don't have time to get on my phone. But that's the beauty of it, guys. Don't panic when you can't check your notifications. Don't let this business run you. You run it. Yes. And don't get me wrong, we all let it get a hold of us. But you have to keep in mind that these people want to see that you can do it with your kids. So if you're immediately answering people back to back, then you're going to give the impression that they have to be that way. And then when they sign people, their people's going to have that impression that they have to be that way, and it's going to become overwhelming. You don't have to answer people right away. You can make them wait.
Yeah. Kind of going back to what we said, yesterday or the day before. Have those priorities, straight, where you have time to reply. Have your time when you get back to people. I think it's awesome that as a group, we're really close as friends. We do this business together, and our husbands become friends. We all hang out. When you're doing this and you're going for goals and supporting each other, you communicate a lot. So we become a little family, and then our kids are growing up together, and they become a little family, and it just makes the journey that much more exciting. Like when I would go in, I can't tell you how many times Jen and Brad and I have got together. All of our boys are the exact same age, and my kids ask for the boys. So get the kids together, build those relationships with them, and a lot of times the kids will just go off and play, and then you have your time to focus and do what you have to do.
I do want to say this. Don't ever apologize for your children.
Oh, yeah.
When you apologize for your children, you're apologizing for the fact that you have them with you. And how dare us apologize for these amazing little kids that God gave us. Don't ever, ever, ever apologize for your children. Mm-hmm. You do this business for the fact that you can be with them, and don't ever feel like you have to. I remember Emmy, she'll stick in my head for the rest of my life. She was you could just tell the embarrassment, the frustration, the humility that she was feeling because her baby was the baby crying. But guess what? That's what this business is all about. Yeah. Don't ever apologize because your baby's crying. Guess what? Babies cry. Yeah. Would you apologize if they were crying in Walmart? No.
Right.
Don't apologize for that.
And I want to mention something to the moms out there that aren't full-time moms, full-time stay-at-home moms, because I know that there are a lot of them out there. Don't look at us and think that we can build our business because we're home. There are so many ways to work your business when you have a full-time job. You can post before you go to work on Facebook. You can use your lunchtime in order to post on Facebook, answer questions, make phone calls. When you get home, when everybody is fed and the kids are having playtime, If they're doing something on their own, that's when you can check Facebook again or check your messages and make phone calls. And when they go to bed, that can be your work time for 1 to 2 hours. Do not think that you can't work your business because you don't have the same kind of time that we do. Because I don't work my business from 7 in the morning until 7 in the morning, pretty much. Y'all know I don't sleep. But I have set times, and I actually did that the other day. I posted what my day looked like from 7 in the morning till 9 in the morning before everybody gets up, and then while they're already just having breakfast, that's when I work. That's when I text and call and Facebook. And then I chose to homeschool this year. So that chunk of time is not work time for me. That is kid time, period. You can do this. You can fit it into your life. You can reach your goals, and it doesn't matter how much time or as little time as you have, as long as, like Jessica said the other night, the time that you do have, make it intentional.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Whether it's 10 minutes or an hour, whatever you can fit in.
Yeah, and I wanted to say too for Erica, guys, I grew my business on the side of my real job, my full-time job, for a year and a half. It took me a year and a half to go, work this business, and I did it at night. I did it, like Erica said, when my kids went to sleep. I did it on my lunch break. I'm handing out cards on the weekends. It took me a year and a half to be able to say, okay, I'm making more than my full-time job. I'm ready to walk away. So, you need to give it time. Getting into this business, you need to give it more than 6 months. You need to give it 1 year. You need to have that in your head that you say, look, by my year to date sign up, a year from now, I'm a reevaluate my business and see where I am. But you have to give it time and you have to work it. And it took me a year and a half to go full time. So give it time, and you can do it while you have a full time job.
Yeah, and don't freak out over little stuff like spilled milk. Who cares? Clean it up.
We're gonna completely switch gears here. Rachel, I do have a lot of girls asking, how do you build it with no kids? And how do you relate to moms who have kids? I have a lot of girls. That was one of the questions tonight on that page. I want to remind everyone, if you have a question, go to our page and post your question on the news feed, regarding tonight's event. But somebody did ask, and she said, I don't have kids. So how do I tell a mom what to do if I haven't been there? So rate really have moms like that.
I mean, I guess I would have felt the same way if I hadn't have went to any events. I mean, going to events, you see people are bringing their kids there, and any event that I host or monthly meeting, I'm like, y'all, kids are allowed. Do not come because you have your kids. Just bring them something to do. A coloring book. Most of the time for events, I have a little baggie, and maybe I'll put some candy in it or whatever. Kids come, I have little coloring books. Here, give this to your kids so they're not talking the whole time during the meeting, or just whatever. I mean, I guess that's it. How do you work it without having kids? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just work it.
I think the question is more like relating to how do you relate to other moms, and you did answer it. And that's awesome. Color books, even if you don't have kids, but there's a way you can cater to them.
I'm
There's a way
always
you
the
can make them feel
babysitter. I'll hold your kid, like
yeah.
if you want to lead your team, and sometimes I'm like, okay, this girl has a kid here, her kid is screaming, I'm going to take her kid so she can listen to everybody talking. So if you don't have a kid in your hands, and if you don't have a child, take someone else's kid so they can listen, because they need to hear it. So that's what I'll do.
You know what I think? I just thought of this while you were talking. I think when people made the excuse that they couldn't do it because of kids, the first thing you did was show them that video of me.
Yeah.
That's why you
No,
tagged
people
me.
do.
I bet that was really good in giving women like a bigger picture, like you can do it, here's why,
And they need to know that at that meeting, as your kids were running around y'all, we had our kids and Jen and Brad had their kids, so and other people had theirs too. So it wasn't just one person that couldn't get a babysitter. We purposefully brought our kids.
All our kids.
I do have to say something. Really in a year hanging out with everyone and It Works and all the mommies on my team and stuff, I want to have babies now, because I'm like, that just proves that there's kids everywhere. Is at all our meetings, all our events. One Team, One Mission. Brittany had both her kids in the front row, and we let them run around. Other people were grabbing them, whatever. They were going up to everybody talking to them, and so it's made me. I'm like, okay, I want to have kids because I've been around kids so much. So that just goes to show, don't make your kids your excuse. Bring them to events. There's other kids they can play with.
Absolutely. Yeah, we did have a lot of kids at your One Team One Mission. That was awesome. And it does take the pressure off. And, they had one mom there, and the baby was crying, and I saw how frustrated she was getting, and I just want to cry, saying this, but I was so proud of her just for being there. There's so many women that stayed home that day that decided not to go because they didn't have a sitter. And, that girl, I really want to know who she is, but...
Emmy. Her name's Emmy.
Emmy? Oh, I talked to her.
Yeah, I love Emmy. She messages me all the time.
Oh my gosh, she's so cute. I was talking to her. I spoke with her on the phone today. I didn't even know that was her. But it was so awesome, to see that mom, is there. She's there. Her kid's crying, and it doesn't matter. You know what? The kids are going to get bigger, and this business is still going to be exactly where you left it. So work it with everything you have, or don't work it at all. Those kids are going to get bigger, and this is the truth, and this is really the honest-to-God truth why I got into this business. Let me share this with you. And I don't know, Veronica knows this, maybe Erica knows this, because you guys have heard me say this from in the very beginning. When I started this, I used to say it all the time. I'm the oldest of 4. I grew up with my parents running a business out of their house. And they were self-employed. My mom pretty much raised us. My dad was gone when we woke up, and he came home after we went to sleep. So we barely saw my dad. And my mom put us first. My mom put us first, the kids. She put my dad, the business, and she never took time for herself. She never had a girls' night. She never had quiet time. She never had spiritual time to fill herself up. She never exercised. Her life revolved around her kids, and she did not take the time to take care of herself. And you know what happened? You know what happens when you put your kids first? Your kids are going to grow up. They're going to move out of your house, and then what are you going to do when they can take care of themselves? When they're gone, who are you going to take care of? You're not going to have anyone. You're going to be looking at yourself in the mirror, wondering where did the time go. And that's why I do this business, because as a woman, look, you need to establish yourself right now, financially, spiritually, mentally, physically. You need to find a balance. Yes, you need to, you should put God first, put your husband second, then your kids, then it works. That's how, if you want success, that's the order it needs to be in. God, your husband, your kids. Your husband needs to come before your kids, period. And then your business. And when you have that alignment, your business is going to flow because you have peace. So it is important for you to know that you need to be financially stable. You need to have your own source of income. You need to feel like, as a woman, we need to have some kind of self-worth. We need to have feel like we are giving or have a purpose in this life. Why are we here? And if it's only your kids are eventually not going to need you. So what else do you have? What are you doing for yourself? And like Veronica said, she made that decision that she was going to do this with or without him. And when that confidence, when that desire for Veronica to better her life came about, she was able to vocalize that. Her atmosphere changed. Her relationship with her husband changed because that confidence was there. She was able to stand up for herself. And a lot of times we lose that. So if you're making excuses, not to work this business because of your kids, know that this is the only time you have because they're going to be gone, and you have to work on your marriage. Your marriage. The reason why God comes first and then your marriage comes second is because your kids are going to be gone. They're going to move out of the house, and then you're still going to be married. You're going to have to look at that person in the eyes and figure out what you're going to do. So if you're not dating now, how are you going to know how to date later? And I know most of you guys have babies. But that's something that you need to start establishing now in your relationship before you wake up and all this time is gone, and you don't know who you are. You're 50 whatever years old and you have no clue what happened to your life. So everything you do right now has value. So set those priorities. But you know, when I first started this business, that's what I would say at my wrap parties. You need to be doing this for you. You need to be on the products and taking care of your body. You know, because your hormones are going to change and it's going to be harder later. Start now. Your finances. You know, it's like ridiculous. I think 90% of people in America only have $10,000 in their retirement. That's it. Then what? I mean, 10,000. That's only going to last you like 3 months. So what are you doing now to set yourself up for later? So that is my closing remarks. It's been an hour. We're just going to go through here. Erica, if you want to wrap up, if you have one last thought for us, if you want to say real quickly, and then we'll go Katie, Rachel, Brittany, and Veronica.
I will kind of go off of what you just said as far as doing something for you. Um, I want to say that all the leaders have ups and downs. So those of you that are new, that are getting no's and that are not okay with that, trust me, it's okay. The yeses will come. But Brian reminded me about something. You know, I've had a lot of lows in this business because my life has had ups and downs. Things have happened out of my control, and I just kind of had to deal with it. But he looked at me one day and he said, you know what, you may not be at the rank where you thought you'd be, but you have you have done everything you set out to do. Your entire life, you've always said you wanted to help people. That's exactly what you're doing. You are putting smiles on people's faces. He said, you know, you've always wanted to be home with the kids, and that's exactly what you're doing. He said you wanted to have a strong marriage. That's exactly what we're doing. So, yeah, do this for you. Do it for the money if you want to, but do this for you. Do it for helping people. Do it for giving somebody a chance at a better life that they don't even know that they want yet. Be that rescue for that mom that's standing in the grocery store wondering if she's going to eat for the next month or if she's going to buy diapers, because that was me. And I don't have to do that anymore because of this company. I don't have to look my kids in the face and tell them, no, baby, we can't do that. We don't have enough money. Work this business. Have those goals. And set weekly goals, set monthly goals, set yearly goals. But if you don't have those goals and you don't have them written out, they're going to disappear. So put them in front of you where you see them every single day. Have your family involved. Have your husband involved, whether he likes it or not. And eventually he'll come around. So that's it for me. Don't make excuses. Know what your why is. Make it strong and make it the reason you get up every morning and bust your behind to get as high up and as far as you can go with this company.
I love it. All right, Katie, what's your closing remarks?
I just want to say that a lot of people that are just starting might think that we have it all figured out, that everything is super easy for us, and that us and our husbands have the perfect relationship. And I am one to say that it is not always perfect. Will's always getting mad at me because the dishes aren't done or the clothes aren't done. And I swear he only wears 3 pairs of jeans a week because he makes me do the laundry all the time. So we fight. It's normal. People are gonna fight. You're gonna have where you absolutely cannot stand your husband or your kids, but I mean it's terrible to say, but you're gonna have those moments where you just can't be alone. And we are not perfect. We go through the same struggles as you do. So make sure that you're not thinking, okay, like I can't do this like they can, because their life is perfect and our lives are not perfect. We go through everything like you do. Like Emmy was getting frustrated because her baby was crying. I've been there. I was at green carpet breastfeeding my son when he was screaming, crying. So we've all been there. You're going to get through it. It's just another day, and tomorrow's a new day. So that's basically what I have to say.
I love it. Thanks, Katie. All right, Miss Rach.
All right. My closing remark was my number one tip for this morning huddle call is just building relationships. Sideline sisters, people underneath you, whoever. You just want to build relationships in this company. And, you know, whenever you have people underneath you that, like, I don't want to say this, but I was talking to someone the other day, and she had never even spoken to a girl that's, like, on her 5th level. And I'm like, why have you not spoken to this girl? And she just hadn't. And people are going to eventually just fall off if you're not building a relationship with them. So it's huge. Anybody that joins your team, make sure you're building a relationship with them, because that's what this is all about: friendships, fun, and freedom. And it's just about changing lives. That's it.
Awesome. We'll pass it on to Britt and V. What you got, girls?
Yeah, my closing is involve your kids as much as you can, especially if they're little, if they're babies, then that's better than bringing, like I did, a 4 and 8-year-old into it and wanting to know why their mom's on the computer all the time. You have babies that are going to grow with your business, so you have an advantage. They're going to be used to this by the time they're 2 and 3. You have wrap parties, involve them. Have them pass out greens, pass out the product brochures, pass out green shoes. Get them involved now. That way this will just be something that they're used to. And now my kids, they actually get mad if they can't come with me. They wanted to come to One Team, One Mission, and they get mad that they can't come. They're asking me when the next event is. So involve them. Show them that it's fun. Show them that, when you get a little bonus, hey, we can go get you something special. Take them for ice cream. But, take them to a corporate event. It's exciting. It's fun. We love it. They're going to love it. So that's it. Involve them as much as you can.
Two things. So for your husband, don't ever forget to, like Jess said, it's so important to keep your husband second to God. Make him feel like he's the man. He's important. Never forget that, because you should always have butterflies in your stomach when it comes to your husband. Whether it's the good ones or the bad ones, you should always have them. Kiss him on the neck and say, I'm so thankful for you. I just love you for no reason. If he comes in from work and he's frustrated about the phone, put your phone down and say, you know what, baby, I love you, and I'm sorry it has to be this way sometimes, but it's for the best. And for your kids, don't cry over spilled milk. It took me a long time. First time I ever met Jessica, she had to take me and go, calm down. I couldn't even get dressed. I didn't even have enough time to get dressed. I was in pajama pants. Like, it was so embarrassing. And she just said, calm down. It's okay. They're kids. And so I'm learning, don't apologize for your children. Don't scream because you were on the phone for 10 minutes and you turn around and your 4-year-old dumps milk everywhere and your 20-month-old pulls movies off the shelf. Yes, that really happens at my house on a daily basis. Don't scream pick and choose your battles. They're kids, you're distracted, and it's going to happen, but it's okay, because you're going to get distracted with something else anyway. Either you're playing on your phone working, or you're playing on your phone just to play on your phone. Don't get distracted, and always involve your children. And keep your husband special and keep your baby special. Make sure that, because if you're always screaming and hollering at them while you're at a wrap party, they're going to learn to hate it. They're not going to want nothing to do with it. You're teaching your children. You're building a foundation. You and your husband are showing your kids what relationships are going to be. They're getting firsthand experience and firsthand, that's like school. This is what I'm going to do when I get older.
Yeah.
And same thing with you. You're mama, but you're also Brittany. You're also Jessica. You're also Veronica. You're also Rachel. You have to show them you can be mama and be you too, and learn to juggle. So just do it. Stop making excuses. Don't cry over spilled milk, and keep your hubby happy. And that's it.
We're done. I'm gonna just say something super fast. When we were in Vegas, there was a kid, literally, this kid's like in his early 20s, and his parents got started in network marketing about 30 years ago. And at home parties, so the parents were in this company and they would have these home parties, and the kid literally grew up in the industry, grew up going to events, his mom listening to personal growth in the car, his dad reading books, them doing parties and all this kind of stuff, and he grew up in that industry. And whenever he got out of high school, he went and got a job and literally walked out of there the first day and was like, what am I doing? And now he's a multi-millionaire in network marketing, and he's 20-something, and he married a girl in network marketing that's a multi-millionaire. There are a couple doing this together. So guys, look at this as your family business. what can you accomplish? But what are you teaching your kids, and what can they accomplish? If you're getting this now and your kids are getting this, look at where you are. I mean, thank God that we got this at a young age. But look at our children. Look what they're, soaking in. Look what we're teaching them. Look what they're seeing. They're seeing a positive side of life. So those seeds planted in them, guys. Like I talked about earlier with the wraps, the seeds that we're planting in our kids, you have no idea what type of harvest that's going to produce. You just don't even, you can't see it. I don't know. It's God knows. He brought you to this for a reason, so you can change generations. Our kids are world changers. So I love you guys. I hope tonight was helpful. I love these girls so much. Erica, Katie, Rachel, Britt, Veronica. Like, these are my girls. And I don't know. It's awesome to see your smiling faces, hear your stories. We're a sisterhood of rap girls. So everybody have a great night, and we'll post this recording. Bye.
Bye. Have a good night.
Bye, everybody.
Night.